You probably already know this moment. It's dark. Your room is quiet. You're asleep. And then, for no obvious reason, your eyes open. You don't look at the clock right away. You just know it's the middle of the night. You turn your head, see the digits glowing on your phone or alarm 3 o'clock a.m. again. You weren't expecting it. You didn't want it. But somehow your body seems to choose almost exactly the same time, night after night. So what is actually happening inside you in the minutes before that wake up? Why does it feel like 3 a.m. has become your body's secret appointment with consciousness? Let's start with the clock you never see. Inside your brain, there is a tiny cluster of cells that acts like your master timekeeper. It sits deep behind your eyes and quietly tracks light, darkness, temperature, and 1,000 subtle signals about what time of day it is. Every cell in your body has its own rhythm. But this cluster is the conductor. It tells your hormones when to rise and fall. It tells your body temperature when to drop and when to climb. It sets the schedule for when you feel hungry, when you feel sleepy, and when you feel wide awake. Your sleep is not one long flat night. It's a series of cycles, roughly 90 minutes each, moving through deep, light, and dreaming sleep. By the time you reach 3 a.m., you've usually completed 3 or 4 of these cycles. The deepest, most protected part of your sleep has already happened. Now you're in the more fragile half of the night, where dreaming and lighter stages take up more space. Imagine your night like a building. The first half is the foundation, heavy, slow, deep repair. The second half is the upper floors, more dreaming, more mental processing, more easily disturbed, 3 a.m. Sits right around the staircase between those two worlds. There's another player in this story. A hormone you hear about all the time, but rarely connect to that glowing 3 o'clock on your phone, cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone. During the day, it helps you stay alert, respond to challenges, and get through life. At night, it's supposed to fall, giving your body room for repair. But it doesn't stay low forever. A few hours before your supposed to wake up, your system begins quietly preparing. Your body temperature starts to rise. Your blood pressure edges up. And cortisol begins a slow climb, a biochemical ramp that will eventually help you open your eyes and face the day. For many people on a typical sleep schedule, that ramp starts around 3 a.m. If your nights are calm, you might sleep right through this. If your life is full of stress, the same natural rise can turn into a jolt. Your nervous system is already running hot. Your baseline cortisol is higher than it should be. When the 3 a.m. rise arrives, it doesn't whisper, it taps you on the shoulder. Sometimes it shakes you awake. So you wake up. You look at the clock. You see 3 o'clock a.m. and think, why always this time? What's special about 3 a.m.? What's wrong with me? From inside your experience, it feels mysterious. From inside your biology, it's a collision. Lighter sleep, rising cortisol, shifting temperature, all arriving in the same narrow window. There's more. Earlier in the night, you're protected by deep sleep. The slow, heavy waves of that state hold your thoughts down, keep your emotions quiet, and make it hard for small disturbances to reach the surface. By 3 a.m., those defenses are weaker. You're drifting in and out of lighter stages, with dreaming brain activity and more fragmented patterns. A small sound, a subtle pain, a change in breathing, even a stray thought has a much easier path to wake you up. Sometimes the trigger is external, a car passing, a dog barking, a fan turning off. Sometimes it's internal, a change in blood sugar, a brief pause in breathing, a shift in heart rhythm, a tightening muscle. The event itself may last seconds, but once you're awake, your mind does something you don't expect. It starts to talk. In the middle of the day, your thoughts have competition, messages, work, people, noise at 3 a.m. There is nothing to distract you. The quiet becomes a stage. If your life carries unresolved stress, grief, worry, or decisions you've avoided, this is the hour when they find room. The same cortisol that is supposed to prepare you for morning also lifts some of the suppression that deep sleep had placed on your emotional centers. Your brain begins processing, but you're half awake and lying in the dark. So it does what it knows. It turns these signals into thoughts. They often feel catastrophic. You think about money, health, people, mistakes. Everything feels more intense than it does at noon. There's a reason at 3 a.m. Your brain is not fully on, but your emotional circuits can be unusually exposed. You're looking at your life with the least amount of distraction and the least amount of protection at the same time. This can create a loop. You wake up for biological reasons. You notice the clock. You begin to worry about waking up. That worry feeds the same stress systems that helped wake you in the first place. Your body begins associating 3 a.m. with threat, and your nervous system learns patterns very quickly. So next night, the combination of lighter sleep plus hormone changes plus learned expectation can produce the same wake-up at almost the same time. It feels mystical. It feels targeted. But it's physics and memory working together. There are other layers too. For some people, waking at 3 a.m. is linked to pain, breathing problems, or medical conditions. Sleep apnea can interrupt breathing and force the body to wake to protect itself. Reflux, restless legs, heart rhythm changes, blood sugar dips, or chronic pain can all send small signals that reach the surface when sleep is lightest. The exact time is shaped by your routine. If you fall asleep around 11 p.m., 3 or 4 sleep cycles later puts you close to that familiar hour. If your body temperature hits its lowest point between 3 and 4 a.m., tiny changes around that dip can be enough to disturb fragile sleep. All of these systems are controlled by the same central clock. When that clock shifts earlier, because of age, light exposure, late night screens, or schedule, the patterns it controls move together. Your sleep window, your hormone curves, your temperature rhythm all slide forward. The wake-up moves with them. This is why it often feels like 3 a.m. is not random but chosen asterisk. Your internal rhythms are precise. When they misalign in precise ways. There's one more piece people often miss. For most of human history, night was dark and sleep was rarely a single, solid block. Many cultures experience split sleep, a first sleep, a period of quiet wakefulness, and a second sleep toward dawn. During that wakeful window, people prayed, thought, talked quietly, reflected. They didn't call it insomnia. They called it normal. Modern life compressed sleep into one unit, flooded nights with light, and taught us that waking up means something is wrong. So when your body remembers how to wake in the deep quiet, you interpret it as failure instead of pattern. What does all of this mean for that moment when you open your eyes and see 3 o'clock a.m. glowing in the dark? It means your body is not broken. It is following rhythms you didn't choose and sending signals you weren't taught to read. It is moving through cycles where some hours are more fragile than others. Raising hormones to prepare for morning, sometimes too early or too strongly. Allowing hidden worries and unresolved stories to surface when the world is quiet enough to hear them. Reacting to pain, breathing, temperature, and sugar in predictable ways that happen to collide around the same time. One day you may adjust your light, your routine, your stress, and your sleep schedule so that your most vulnerable hour is quieter and your wake-ups fade. You may never wake at exactly 3 a.m. again. But even if you do, you'll know something you didn't know before. You'll know that the number on the clock is not a curse, not a mysterious force, not a sign that you are uniquely broken. It is a coordinate on a map your body has been following since long before you ever looked at a digital display. And once you understand what your brain and body are actually doing at that hour, waking at 3 a.m.,